Hey guys, welcome back. Today I am putting together a double page spread in my new 6x8 album for my new kitten Pearl. If you haven't seen my Instagram, I've got a new fur baby. This is Pearl here. The kit that I'm using today is another digital kit. This is the Pawsome kit from Nelly and Clem. I have definitely not printed out the entire kit because it is massive. I've printed out a few kind of cat related elements and I haven't printed all of the papers. I've just printed little slices of paper because I kind of had a vague idea of what I was going to do for this page. I have also printed out some 3x4 cards here. I'm not actually going to use them. They were just, I had some blank space on the pages that I was printing, so I know I will use them eventually. Those little squares are actually from another one of the papers, which has all of these cute fun little elements on them, so I printed them out as separate little squares. And then I've also got a bunch of elements. So I'm starting with my left-hand page, and I'm basically putting together a full page in my 6x8 album, but it's not 6x8 because I'm not putting it in a page protector. So this is the same size as the page protectors, which happens to be 7 by 8.5 inches. So it's slightly larger than a 6x8 page. And then on the right-hand side of the spread, I'm going to do one of those little 2-inch pocket spreads, pages. I never know what to call them. They've got the 12 little pockets in them, so I'm going to fill those with some of those fun little elements. So I'm just going to put together my full-size page here using my little strips of paper. There are 4 pattern papers, and so like I said, I've used 3 of them for this side and the 4th one on the other side. I adhered them all down, sort of adhered them all together, and then I did go and run them through my sewing machine, so I've stitched down each of those layers. Makes it nice and sturdy, but I did forget about the fact that I wanted to tuck some things into the layers, so I'm plan Bing it. I just trimmed off the end of one of the labels, and there is a little bit of a tuck spot, so it's just enough to tuck it under. It makes it look like it's tucked even though it's actually not. I'm going to create just a tiny little cluster down here, and all I'm going to try to do while I'm putting this entire spread together is try to balance out these colors, the pink, yellow, and the blue. It's kind of a tealy blue, like it's a warmer toned blue, a more kind of yellow toned blue. There's a couple of different blues in there, but I just want to kind of make sure that I get everything nicely balanced, so there's a little bit of the yellow really becomes the highlight color all over the spread. Now this Best Bud title here actually comes as kind of one piece, and when I trimmed this out, and I did cut everything out with my Cricut, I just cut it with a little bit of an offset so it would have that white line around the outside of it, just so that it would show up on top of all of those pattern papers and my photos. And the rest of this kind of cluster is fairly simple. It's just 2 little word strips on top of those 2 labels, but I do kind of end up totally changing my mind. I'm going to tuck this little cat in here. Luckily, I kind of managed to pull up the letters without ripping anything. I'm just using tape runner for these pages, and it kind of like hasn't set up yet, so I could gently lift that up because that little kitty's so cute. I know she's pink, but Pearlie's a pink girl at heart, so it totally works under there. I did happen to get a couple of Doodlebug sprinkle sets, these little love heart stickers. Love them so much. I've got another set that I've just about out of, so I grabbed a couple more the other day, and I'm going to use some of these because they're kind of perfect colors. There's a little bit of yellow. I mean, they're not exactly the same yellow or the same blue. I had to use both sets, but they kind of work perfectly. Just again, they kind of, because they've got that little bit of kind of glossy texture, I just love kind of adding real elements when I'm using printables. It just makes it feel a bit more kind of less digital, I guess. Now this is the 12 square pocket page that I was talking about. I've got 3 little photos from the same kind of series that I took of Pearl, and this is why I thought that squared kind of icon paper would be perfect for this page. I am going to shuffle these round like maybe a million times before I finish this page, but I do end up kind of really loving where it goes. Initially, I had planned that I would leave those 4 pockets kind of spare, and I would put like sequins in them or something, but I ended up doing something really much more fun than sequins, so I'm gonna save those for now. The other thing that I'm gonna do is use a couple of these kind of like die cut pieces that I had left over. I really wanted to use this like bunting flag, but I didn't really have enough room for it over on the left hand side. So I'm making my own little card. I had some cardstock that was almost the perfect color to go with this kit. Just trimmed out a little square and stuck it down, and then I stitched it with my sewing machine. Since I've got stitching on the left hand side, I'm going to add it onto the right as well. And I was going to trim the top of it off, but I actually kind of like it. I don't mind that it's going to like stick out of the pockets. I kind of like that there's something like breaking up that grid pattern. So you can see me, I shuffled again, and since I used that cardstock, I'm going to do something that I only just remembered in time before I went and found some sequins, is that I've got this little paw print punch. It's super old. I might have used it like maybe once or twice, ever, and so I'm going to use it today. So I'm going to punch out some little paw prints from that same colored cardstock, and I need something to kind of back them, obviously, and I do like having a clear element in these pockets. So I just trimmed out some 2x2 squares of acetate, and I'm going to adhere each of these little pieces of the paw back down onto the acetate. So to start off with, I used the kind of the leftover punched piece as a guide, and I'm just adhering them and sticking them all in, and then I carefully peel off the little backing piece, and I'm left with a paw print on one piece of acetate. This was kind of a pain, I'll be honest, peeling the thing off, and it took a while. So in the end, I don't do that again. I needed it for the initial one, but then I just use the one that I've got as kind of a guide for the rest of them, so I can lay the clear acetate down on top and then just stick all the little die cut pieces back on top. You can see I've got some really cute little paw prints climbing through my layout. Now I'm still not happy with kind of the balance of colours. I've got that one spot of yellow that said meow. I loved the other blue meow, but I didn't want 2 meow meows right next to each other, so I kind of shuffled things again. But I'm not loving where I've got these things. So what I'm going to do is shuffle them again and create another couple of clusters on 2 of these little cards. I forget to do it on the video, but the wee speech bubble there, I ended up date stamping on this particular layout. I don't often date stamp, but as I've been working through my albums for Lily and Mel, I have been trying to put some date stamps on there, and it's very hard to go backwards when you're working kind of in memoriam like that. So what I'm going to do is try really hard to add date stamps onto the layouts that I make going forward for Pearl. So I really liked that pink speech bubble down the bottom. I just could not find a kind of card that I liked up the top. The blue paw was just too dark for the rest of the spread. I really loved that little cuddles sort of mark, and I was sad to cover up the words Toby on that card, but I did it anyway. I did take both of those over to the sewing machine and add a little bit, tiny little bit of stitching on there as well, and then call this spread all done. Hey, this is such a cute kit, the Pawsome kit. I will leave the link for the Nelly and Clem store in the description box, but honestly, I've just had so much fun playing with this. It's so bright and so cute, and if you've got a fur friend like I do, I know you're going to want it. Hey, thanks for watching today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, I'm going to leave a couple videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you really soon. Bye!